All right, let the record reflect that if my stalking app is correct, that Dr. McNeil is about 6 minutes out. So we got 4 of us here for now, and I expect Dr. McNeil to be here shortly. I'll entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Ms. McAdams,
Yes.
Ms. Romerman.
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. On the consent agenda, all of the following items, those items of a routine nature normally approved at board meetings, will be approved by one vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items. Those items are listed as items A through V.
Move for approval.
Second.
Ms. McAdams,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Ms. Romerman,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes as well. Under information reports, do we have a USPA report? Under UCTA, Ms. Churchill.
President Kinnear, Dr. Hartzler, and members of the board, UCTA is participating in OEA's Civication program. This has 2 features: Civication at the Capitol, where members are prepared and coached by OEA to lobby with our legislators for public ed, and Civication at home. We've had 11 members sign up to participate in Civication at the Capitol. Our home event is actually this week. OEA has invited our legislators to come to dinner with a question and answer session to follow. We've started our spring membership drive, and we're waiting with bated breath for Friday afternoon.
Under hearings and correspondence, do we have any communications? Anyone signed up to speak regarding the agenda? All right. Moving on to the business agenda. Under instruction, update on union's strategic plan. Dr. Nelson.
President Kinnear, Dr. Hartzler, and board. As we come to the close of the current strategic plan, we're providing a final update with some highlights to note the district's progress in key areas. Obviously, the pandemic was grossly disruptive to nearly all of our district's endeavors, and it's left a wake of loss and needs across the union community. In spite of its residual effects, union's begun to move forward, restoring stability and resuming growth. A review of the updated objectives, measures, and timeline chart, which is in your board packet, shows that nearly all of the action steps established at the onset of this 5-year strategic plan have been implemented. Although some of the plans were modified and a few measures were updated, the substance of the plan is largely the same, and the goals that were set were accomplished through a team effort of union staff, teachers, and leaders. I would like to share a few of the highlights that delineate recent accomplishments and celebrations of note. The ongoing work toward 100% graduation, college and career readiness has and will continue unabated by the challenges that we face. For example, in the area of culture, a union effectively produced, promoted, and passed an unprecedented $152 million bond issue. Rebecca Peterson was selected as our State Teacher of the Year for 2021 and goes on to be named a top 5 finalist for National Teacher of the Year. And on the heels of that, Rexanne McCrary was recognized as a finalist for State Teacher of the Year, putting union on the top charts yet again for 2022. In the area of human capital, sign-on bonuses were produced in difficult-to-fill areas that are not matched by most districts around us. We've expanded our student teaching corps, which provides union with an indelible link to new teachers coming out of the universities. And we've established an onboarding programs in the support services division. Under business and operations, a few examples. Union received the Meritorious Budget Award from the Association of Business Officials, ASBO International. No other school district in Oklahoma has received this award. Our IT department deployed, since 2020, over 8,000 new laptops for one-to-one initiatives. A couple of examples under partnerships. The construction program has grown to over 300 students from 9th through 12th grade. Leveraged partnerships pay for a teacher, a bilingual aide, equipment, and materials. Union partners with the Department of Human Services to bring in 3 school-based specialists to serve students and their families. And a few items under teaching and learning. The proficiency rates on the 2022 state tests increased for 12 of the 17 tests district-wide. And this year, the implementation of new elementary English language arts materials is underway. And although a large percentage of students are reading below grade level, effect of the pandemic, there are positive signs of learning gains. Early data for our K through 2nd grade indicates that all 13 elementary schools are experiencing healthy rates of growth in reading, with 9 of the 13 schools growing faster than most schools nationwide. Our high school musical included more students and wowed large audiences, and I'm sure you got to see it like I did. It was tremendous. And finally, another highlight to share, the College and Career Center led Union students to become Oklahoma's Promise 6A champions for the 11th year in a row. There are many more highlights that I could share with you. You'll receive those in a full report from Dr. Hartzler soon. And it is a pleasure to celebrate Union's progress. In the face of big challenges, we're coming back strong. So thank you. I welcome any questions or comments that you have.
Well, I don't believe there's any action required on our part, but I do appreciate the update. I continue to believe that Union Public Schools has been, and will be a center of excellence. I think I am very pleased with the strategic plan that we have in place. I know we look at tweaks and improvements all the time. Not to say that there aren't any, but I think we are hard pressed to find what those new challenges, what those new goals need to be. So I'm sure some are in the works, but nevertheless, I continue to be impressed and pleased with the long-range plan, strategic plan that we have in place as well.
Thank you, sir. And in the coming months, you're going to see the rollout of our next 5-year plan. We're very excited about that. So.
All right. Any other comments, questions while we have the opportunity? All right. Thank you.
I'm next.
All right. And Dr. McNeil, welcome. It's good to see you. Consider and take action to approve the capacity levels and the calculated open transfer capacity amounts as recommended. Dr. Nelson.
Yes, President Kinnear and the board. I recommend the board approve the capacity levels and the calculated open transfer capacity amounts by school and grade level for posting on the district website. These numbers aren't much of a variance from the December numbers. Our levels have stayed relatively steady. We have taken in well over 100 students since the beginning of the school year. So we have around close to 700 transfers, about half of those employee transfers. And of the transfers that came into the district, most were rollover from last year, families that moved out of the district but wanted to continue to stay at Union. Great compliment to the work that we do with students. And then those that came are applied through the summer. So we will look at spring numbers. We have 64 students on a waiting list They've all been contacted and indicate that they're interested in transferring for next year. So we'll be looking for space for those as we complete this year.
Move for approval?
Any comments, questions, discussion? Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Ms. Romerman?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Chair votes yes as well.
Thank you.
Under school operations, consider and take action on the adoption of the multi-jurisdictional, multi-hazard mitigation plan with the City of Broken Arrow in conjunction with Broken Arrow Public Schools. Mr. Warlock.
Mr. Kinnear, School Board, Dr. Hartzler. This is a multi-jurisdictional plan that we've done before in the past, and basically it's with Broken Arrow, and because some of our schools are in the City of Broken Arrow, it automatically includes the whole district. And basically, if we were to have a major disaster in Broken Arrow or in Tulsa on the Union side, the monies from FEMA automatically opens us up to different grants, different things that's needed, whatever the city or whatever the whatever's going on. It could be from radios, it could be for generators, it could be for whatever, just the need at that time. This plan just opens us up to automatically slide us in without any red tape from FEMA.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. Romerman? Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Consider and take action on the revisions to the district's uniform guidance procurement plan and procedures. Mr. Young.
Good evening, President Kinnear, Dr. Hartzler, members of the board. I present to you an update to our federal procurement plan that we need to have in place, especially child nutrition. They're required to have a procurement plan. So I reviewed these plans this year and looked at the federal statutes as well as the state requirements and have updated the plan. We anticipate that we will have our next 5-year child nutrition procurement audit in 2023-2024. So this just makes sure that we're up to where we need to be in terms of our requirements and procedures.
Any questions, comments, discussion?
Move for approval?
Second.
Ms. Romerman?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Thank you.
Consider and take action on the 2023-2024 application for temporary appropriations for the 2023-2024 fiscal year for the general building and child nutrition funds. Dr. Williams.
Good evening, President Kinnear, members of the board, and Dr. Hartzler. This is a recommendation for approval of our application for temporary appropriations for school year 23-24. As you know, this is required by state law that it be filed with the County Excise Board. And of course, as we normally do, we will bring a preliminary budget accordingly to the board in June. We are in the process of developing our budget right now, so we're anxiously awaiting action of the legislature.
Second.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Ms. Romerman?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Thank you.
All right, any new business? Anybody signed up to speak on any other matters? All right. Any comments from board members? Superintendent?
Congratulations to the girls wrestling team.
Yes, wanted to say that, so I think that is what we're looking at. As hopefully most of you know, our girls wrestling program, they are back-to-back now, 6A state wrestling champions. So we will hopefully find a date and time in the near future to bring them in and to again give them some some props and certainly congratulate them. It's amazing. It's one of those things where, in talking to the coaching staff and the athletic department going into the week, they really weren't too sure that, they were going to be able to do that, and they did by just a half a point. So certainly Dr. McNeil, is a national caliber wrestler. He could tell us more about the significance of that, but all I know is we won. That's all that matters. So.
That's all that matters.
We're very proud of them. So, yeah, we're, as Dr. Williams mentioned, we're waiting on the legislature to work through the many educational laws that are out there this session. And of course, the biggest one for us is trying to figure out how much funding will be earmarked for common education. We certainly are grateful, as I said in my article this Sunday in the Tulsa World, we are grateful to Speaker McCall in the House for infusing really almost $500 million is what's being proposed, along with teacher raises. We're not sure what the Senate's going to do with it, and of course, the biggest concern that I have voiced publicly is the fact that we need this money to go through an established equalized funding formula that Oklahoma has had in place since 1981 that ensures fairness for all students in the state of Oklahoma. And so I will be down there a lot, especially after spring break, and just trying to make sure that we educate. There's a lot of new legislators who are not very familiar, even veteran legislators probably that are not very familiar with Oklahoma's equalized funding formula. And so it is a good formula. It is a viable one. Economists have looked at it many, many times and have said it is a sound equalized funding formula. There are a lot of states that envy Oklahoma's funding formula, but it's always been that it's never been adequately funded at the level that it needs to be. So we're continuing to work on that. I'll remind everyone, those union employees that are with us this evening have heard this probably to ad nauseum, that we're almost $2,000 less in terms of our per pupil funding than some of our neighboring states around us. And if we were to receive that, and of course it would run through the formula, then the union would be looking at an additional $26 million, I have to look over to Dr. Williams, $26 million new dollars each and every year. If that happened, I'll be quiet. I'll just celebrate and say, all right, let's keep doing the amazing things that we're doing, because that would be a historic infusement into common education in Oklahoma. It would be wonderful. So that's what we're going to keep working towards. So I'll just publicly say this. Remember this. Remind our legislatures that we have about a $4 billion surplus this year. $4 billion surplus. And I think certainly the right thing to do is infuse a historic amount of money into common education, because that's going to yield, I think, in terms of our greatest dividend that we have in terms of our economy and also our quality of life in this state. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Any recognitions? All right. I will entertain a motion for executive session. So entertain a motion and vote pursuant to Oklahoma Statute Title 25, Section 307B1, to go into executive session to discuss the evaluations of the superintendent and the chief financial officer.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. McNeil.
Yes.
Ms. McAdams.
Yes.
Ms. Romerman.
Yes.
Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are now in executive session.